Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash, double honors unto the apostles and the elders, peace and salutations unto the brothers, the Akim pushing this truth throughout the four corners of the earth, in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever, to the scattered, the speckled bird, Israelites, who be scattered among the heathen. I say Shalom, and I say Shalom unto the few and faithful Akwat, the sisters listening and learning. This is your brother Yerushalayim from GMS Trinidad Camp, coming at you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Now this video I'm going to entitle Sedition among men is coming. Alright? And in fact it's almost here. We see the supporters of Trump and Biden, basically going at it. Alright, and tempers running high. Alright, Trump saying that if he get voted out, he's not leaving, so the end is here. The end is here. Alright, and let's go to one scripture before I start, because it's so important. It's the book of 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. The Lord said, and he answered me and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass which I told thee before, alright, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And all these signs are here, and in book of 2 Ezra 15 you tell you about riots and seditions, the nation shall stand against nation. Alright, we've seen all these signs, the plagues of Egypt here, the hail, pestilence, earthquakes, verse 3 here says, therefore when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Right? For like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and an end, and the end is made manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And we've seen those signs right now. Alright, so let's go through this video here. Now let's go through some precepts, and we close this one out. I don't want this video to be too long.
Have won over your party and your people. You now stand as the new leader of a nation. And at this point, your primary goal is to repay the voters and please your citizens. But all of that depends on what you and your country have to offer Washington, the guardian of free and fair elections. Fail to please Washington, and your grip on power might fade, and fast.
We condemn the Hong Kong government's decision to postpone for 1 year its legislative council elections.
Nicolas Maduro is a dictator with no legitimate claim to power.
The probe conducted uncovered proof of massive and systemic fraud. It honored the Bolivian people's courageous demand for a free and fair election.
It's so ironic because Esau always getting involved in everybody else's elections, talking about fraud, but now they're claiming fraud.
And for democracy.
Esau is done, man.
Well, what goes around comes around, and in 2020, there are big international concerns about America's election.
Overall, Office for Democratic Institutions and Human Rights Needs Assessment Mission interlocutors noted that the conduct of these elections will be the most challenging in recent decades. They expect that election officials will face serious challenges prior to and on election day due to new measures in response to COVID-19 pandemic, and express concerns over their ability to overcome them.
So let's break down what those concerns are. COVID-19 has forced many parts of the country to go to mail-in voting. Now, the concerns there have been laid bare. Ballots rejected, huge delays, and some ballots discarded. So there's no surprise.
And we know COVID-19 is a big roost, is a big fuss. Alright? So they know what they're doing, by these mailing, by mailing in the votes, First of all, the people don't select the new president. They elect. They cast a ballot, right? So they don't determine who's the new president. Alright? The elites, a special select set of electors, right? Who selected by who? The elites, right? Who basically are insiders, pretty much members of the Council on Foreign Relations, You know, all the major secret societies, you know, they're very close with the elites, Rothschild, the Rockefellers, Oppenheimers, and so forth. They are the one who select the president based on the criteria given to them from the elites. All right, so it was all a farce and a waste of time in the first place, right? You don't select anybody. That's just to fool the people. All right, you know, elect and select are two different words, and you know, at the end of the day, now this mail-in voting is just to make it even easier for them to do what they want to do.
Eyes that some are raising concerns of fraud, including Donald Trump himself.
This election will be the most rigged election in history. This is going to be a fraud like you've never seen.
Here's why Donald Trump and the public have some serious concerns, even more than just a few months ago.
East Texas official is in jail accused of committing voter fraud.
Manatee County Supervisor of Elections Mike Bennett says Wiggins requested a mail-in ballot for himself and his wife.
Meanwhile, the state election board is asking Georgia's attorney general to look into 98 outstanding cases of voter fraud.
DOJ announced that the FBI and the Pennsylvania State Police are investigating fraud in mail-in ballots in Luzerne County.
Okay, so what about good old voting in person then? Fewer polling places, long lines, last-minute relocations of polling places, and a lack of international observers. Not convincing either, especially for one Democratic senator who's gone slightly over the top with this comparison.
If Congress and states don't act immediately, our country could face an electoral Chernobyl this fall.
And if you think the vote...
It's so funny he used that word because when you go back to the word Chernobyl, the historical usage of that word, you know, it basically was a big disaster that happened, I believe, in the Ukraine. Alright? You know, it's the Chernobyl disaster, which was caused by a nuclear accident that occurred on Saturday, 26 April 1986, you know, where basically the reactor and the power plant, you know, would have probably malfunctioned, right? Considered the worst nuclear disaster in history, was caused by one of only 2 nuclear energy accidents rated at 7, the maximum severity, so it was horrible, right? The other being the disaster in Fukushima, you know, in Japan. So it's a huge disaster, you know, and that nuclear accident in this Chernobyl reference, it just reminds me of the nuclear destruction that that's going to happen in America, which is Babylon the Great. Alright? So it's funny he used that word, you know. It's going to be a mess, and that's how America is going to be from now on, a mess. A big, huge cesspool, you know, of confusion. Alright?
Challenges will be over as soon as the polls close. So now the media is ramping up. What if Donald Trump loses but refuses to leave office?
Do you commit to making sure that there's a peaceful transfer of power?
We want to get rid of the ballots, and we'll have a very peaceful. There won't be a transfer, frankly. There'll be a continuation.
Yeah, you know, Trump just playing with them, you know, because both Trump and Biden follow the elites. You know, the elites already selected who they want. So far looking like Biden, but you know, Trump is just, you know, with his usual self, you know, stirring up trouble, alright, because they want confusion. That's what the elites want. They want this confusion to take place. So that's what he's facilitating, you know, by him saying that, hey, you know, continuation, you know, and he's not going to leave office. Alright, he's stirring up that confusion, and we know the elites like confusion. You know, they say when you know, they make the most amount of money when blood runs in the streets. Alright, so they want to stir up this confusion. Why? You know, so they can bring up the new world order. You know, because the motto is order ad chaos, which is order out of chaos.
The ballots are out of control. You know it.
All of this has got Americans bracing for the worst. Polls show that Americans expect riots in the streets after the results are announced, no matter which way it goes.
So you see riots in the streets. Alright? They expect riots in the street. That scripture that we read before, you know, in 2nd Ezra 9, you know, basically say riots among the people, right? So you know, all they're doing really right now is that they're basically just feeding the suspense, right? Feeding the suspense of the people, you know, keeping the people in suspense, you know. causing panic and fear, right? Causing emotions to run high among these people, right? Why? To create uproars, to create infighting, and that's all this is designed to do.
Potential ballot fraud, lack of international observers, leaders potentially refusing to accept the results, and the specter of violence. None of this sounds like an atmosphere in which one can have a free, fair, and transparent election. And a quick look across the Atlantic.
So how come they go to come and take down Trump? They want to go after Maduro. They wanted to take down Castro for so long. They pretty much, from us, put Chavez to death. Hugo Chavez. So how come they come and take down Trump? And Trump said he's not going to leave office. He's not going to obey their democratic rules, right? Which democratic goes back to demon rule, right? Demo meaning demon and craticracy, rule. Alright, so how come?
Shows that only 1 in 10 Europeans think that the election's going to be free and fair. Sanctions, condemnation, appeals to the United Nations, and endless grandstanding. Perhaps the results if this kind of election was seen by the United States happening in another country. Illegitimate, they might call it. Well, perhaps it's time that the United States, Trump and Biden, realize that sometimes it's just as red, white, and blue on the other side of the fence. Caleb Maupin, RT, New York.
All right, so let's leave it there. Let me go to some scriptures here. There's the book of let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, and verse 1. This is Isaiah 19 and 1. The burden of Egypt, behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, which is America, they're talking about here. And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. And the heart, which is the mind of America, Egypt, shall melt in the midst of it. Yeah, their heart, their mind shall melt, they're crazy, they're going to fight against one another, right? Verse 2 said, and it will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, right? And they shall fight everyone against his brother. And that's what's going on here. Edomite is going to fight against Edomite here. Trump supporters versus Biden supporters. And some foolish chick going to get in the way too, but I know our people foolish. Let's go back to Jeremiah 4 and 22. Soddish children, foolish children, right? And everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And this is what's going to happen, right? Right? And the spirit of Egypt, which is Babylon, America, should fail in the midst thereof. So that's what the spirit of evil of Egypt already feeling. Alright? It's already failed. And I will destroy the counsel thereof. Right? So they have no counsel again, The counsel of Esau is destroyed, right? And they shall seek to the idols, and to charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards, because they wouldn't know what the hell is going on. Alright? They're just going to see the place in a mess. But this is not the first time that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai did it. This is not the first time. If you go back to the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 20 and verse 10, the Ammonites, the Japanese, and the Moabites, the Chinese came against Israel before, with the Edomites, right? They amalgamated and came to destroy us, the kingdom of Judah under King Jehoshaphat. Alright? When we were exiting Egypt, the Lord told us not to destroy them, but now they had begun to come against us to destroy us. And now what did the Lord do? The Lord turned them against each other. Let me just read this here. 2 Chronicles 20 and 10. Now behold, the children of Ammon and Moab and Mount Seir, whom thou wouldest not let in Israel invade, when they came out of the land of Egypt, but they turned from them and destroyed them not. Yeah. The Lord said not to destroy them. Behold, I say how they reward us, to come to cast us out of thy possession, which thou hast given us to inherit. O our power, wilt thou not judge them? For we have no might against this company, this great company that cometh against us, neither know we what to do, but our eyes are upon thee. And all Judah stood before Yahweh with our little ones, our wives, and their children. Then Jehaziel, the son of Zechariah, the son of Benaiah, the son of Jeiel, the son of Mattaniah, a Levite of the tribe of Asaph, came the spirit of Yahweh in the midst of the congregation. So he prophesied. And he said, Hearken ye all Judah and ye inhabitants of Israel, and thou King Jehoshaphat. Thus saith Yahweh unto you, Be not afraid nor dismayed by the reason of this great multitude. For the battle is not yours, but Yahweh's. Yeah, the battle is not yours, but Yahweh's, right? The Lord has the battle, and He's going to protect us even in that crazy time that's coming here. Tomorrow go ye down against them. Behold, they come up by the cliff of Ziz, and ye shall find them at the end of the brook before the wilderness of Jeruel. Ye shall not need to fight in this battle. Set yourselves, stand ye still, and see the salvation of Yahweh with you. O Judah and Jerusalem, fear not, nor be dismayed. Tomorrow go out against them by the Yahweh, for the Yahweh will be with you. And Jehoshaphat bowed his head with his face to the ground, and all Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell before Yahweh, worshipping the Lord. And the Levites of the children of the Kohathites and of the children of the Kohathites stood up to praise Yahweh, power of Israel, with a loud voice on high. And they rose early in the morning and went forth into the wilderness of Tekoa. And as they went forth, Jehoshaphat stood and said, Hear me, O Judah and ye inhabitants of Jerusalem. Believe in Yahweh your power, so shall ye be established. Believe his prophets, so shall ye prosper. Right, so that's just faith, belief. Having that faith in the Lord Hashem Yahushua, especially in time that coming here now. When you see this great multitude. Alright? And when he had consulted with the people, he appointed singers unto Yahweh that should praise the beauty of his holiness, as they went out before the army, and to say, Praise Yahweh, for his mercy endureth forever. And when they began to sing and to praise Yahweh, set ambushments against the children of Ammon and Moab and Mount Seir, which will come against Judah, and they were smitten. So the Lord set ambushments against them. Alright? Let's go into that word ambushments. Alright? He set liars in wait for them, right? People waiting, he set ambushes for them, which basically destroy them. Alright? To lie in wait, ambush, lurk. Alright? Alright, so and they were smitten, right? Some of them were smitten. Alright? For the children of Ammon, which is the Japanese, and Moab, which is the Chinese, stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir. Right, so what happened there? They turned them one on another, Egyptian against Egyptian. Right, the Ammonites and the Moabites fighting against the Edomites. Utterly to slay and destroy them. So the Ammonites and the Moabites utterly slayed and destroyed the Edomites. And when they had made an end, the Edomites were there at the time anyway, right? And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Seir, everyone helped to destroy another. So they turned on each other after. The Chinese and the Japanese turned on each other and destroyed each other. And when Judah came toward the tower, the watchtower in the wilderness, they looked unto the multitude, and behold, they were dead bodies fallen to the earth, and none escaped. All were put to death. All praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, Hashem Rakakodash. So that's what the Lord can do. The Lord's power is endless, right? And this is what the Lord is doing right now. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 5. Behold, saith Yahweh, will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness had exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Jump down to verse 12. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. Right? They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. Right? Fearful sky, right? Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Right? And hear this part. Listen to this part. And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. And the modern day sword is the gun. Right? So that's what will happen in America and around the world. Right? For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. So they invade one another whom they shall not regard their kings nor princes, that people of power. Right? And the course of their actions shall stand in their own power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, so there'll be checkpoints and roadblocks. Right? For because of their pride and cities their cities shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So that's what's going to happen. It's going to be so much chaos, so much fighting, that they're going to have to lock down and put roadblocks. It's going to be a mess. Verse 19 reads, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses. Alright? shall destroy their houses with the sword, which is the gun, and spoil their goods, rape your wife, your children, those things like that, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So that's what's happening in this place here. Jump down to verse 24. Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, saith Yahweh, I will not spare them. The Lord is not going to spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power. Defile not my sanctuary. For Yahweh knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivered he them unto death and destruction. Alright? For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For Yahweh shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. So that's what's happening right now. And that's what's going to happen with all these things. That's a plague too. Alright? The Lord going to stir up all this trouble, all this chaos, all this dust. Alright? Dust is synonymous with confusion, as well as night, darkness, right? So what's going to happen? And this will be the weakest point of America, and it'll be a good time for the enemies of America to begin to strike, Behold a horrible vision, verse 28, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabian, as the Arabian nations, shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. And this is what's going to happen, They and the Persians, they're going to come forth, Verse 30 say also the Chaldeans, which are the Persians, the so-called East Indians, the Iranians, right? Raging in wrath shall go forth as wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, with the Arabians, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. So they waste a portion of America. Alright, so all this is going on here is prophesied, right? There's nothing you can do about it. This is the sign of the time, and we're glad, we're looking forward to the new kingdom, right? We want these things to come. Alright? So I'll end it there. I'll give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash, Wa Abad Babal. We send up the curses on Babylon. We want that destruction, fight against each other, Alright? Shalom. Until the next time.